Hey everyone. Hi. How you doing? And don't forget that tomorrow is exam 2 and I will be posting it around noon and you will have until Tuesday at midnight to complete it. Don't forget that once you start the exam, you must finish it in the same sitting. So you can't start it, stop it, and come back to it later. So make sure that you have enough time to do the exam, okay? It should take you about 50 minutes to do. All right, I just wanted to go over some of the main things that are going to be on the exam. There's going to be 3 readings, short readings, and then there'll be some questions after each one. Okay, the most important questions will be what is the topic? Okay, and please know that the topic is one word or a phrase. It's usually a phrase. Um, it's rare that it's going to be one word. It could be a phrase. I use dogs all the time as an example, but you wouldn't have an essay on dogs because it would just have to cover too much. But it might be the training of shelter dogs. Okay, so the training of shelter dogs is not a complete sentence, it's a phrase. So that would be acceptable. All right. The main idea, on the other hand, must be a complete sentence. So the complete sentence, if it was the topic was the training of shelter dogs, then the main idea might be that it's difficult to train shelter dogs. Okay, that's a complete sentence. All right, so be very, very careful that it's a phrase, not a complete sentence. So don't say the topic is the training of shelter dogs because that makes it a complete sentence. Okay, so don't add your thoughts, don't add this is or the topic is, don't say the main idea is, just tell me the main idea, just tell me the topic. All right. In 2 of the readings, it will be the stated main idea. And the stated main idea is a sentence that's actually in the reading that you could just take that one sentence and say, this is what the entire thing is about. Okay. So basically, if it was printed out and you could underline one sentence that sums up what the whole um, essay is about, then that's your stated main idea. Okay. So don't overthink it. A stated main idea is one of the sentences in the story that you could just underline and put that as your answer. All right. So 2 of them are the stated main idea, and they're the easier ones because you can take it right from the reading. The sentence, you can't mess it up. The sentence is in there. All right. So right there, they're like 8 points each. You don't want to lose 16 points right off the top because you didn't do it correctly. The third reading is the implied main idea. An implied main idea means you have to come up with the main idea, but in your own words. There might not be one sentence that sums up the whole thing, but you come up with one sentence that sums up the whole thing. Okay. Some of the other questions will ask you what is the organizational pattern of the reading, and that just means what type of essay is it? Is it cause and effect? Is it classification? A cause and effect is, um, this happened, therefore this is the result. Okay, so I think you all know what a cause. I hope you know what a cause and effect essay is. Other types of essays would be a classification essay where they break things down into categories. So if you see, like, for example, there are, 6 types of coworkers, and they name and describe each type of coworker, then that would be a classification essay. You have simple listing, where it's just list all kinds of things. You have time order essays, and that's where something happens and then something else happens and then something else happens, and they tell you the order that happens. It could be the months of the year, it could be um, the phases of someone's career or the history of someone's career. Okay. I'm trying to think of other things I just wanted to make sure you know. A definition essay is where it's explaining what something is. So if you look for the words, like if you see your topic and then it says shelter dogs are hard to train, um, that might be the definition. Okay, because they're explaining to you exactly what it is. All right, and what else do we have? We did compare and contrast is another type of organizational pattern, and that's where you have 2 or more different things that you're comparing, and you're showing either the similarities it's usually two things, the similarities of the two things or the differences in the two things. But either way, it's a compare and contrast. Okay, so how do you find a main idea? I always look for the main idea in the beginning. Look at the first sentence. If the first sentence sums up what everything else is about, you have your main idea. You stated main idea, you underline it, that's it. Sometimes it's the second sentence. Sometimes it's at the end of the paragraph. Okay? And there's certain instances where it's in the middle of the paragraph. And the way you know this is you're going to look for a reversal transition. And a reversal transition, or look for the words but, however, on the other hand. If you see something like that, so the author might be telling you a story. For example, shelter dogs are hard to train, but, and then it says something else. That something else is going to be your main idea. Okay, so maybe it's shelter dogs are hard to train, but with time and care, they become the best dogs. So then your main idea would be with time and care, shelter dogs are the best dogs. Okay, so if you see that change of direction, that when you see but, that means this is what they're saying. This is, the general thinking of something. However, this is true. When you see that, however, you see that but, you know that that's what the author wants you to know. Okay, and that's where you find your main idea. Okay, so again, the first two readings, you're looking for the stated main idea. Now, how do you know if your stated main idea is right? How do you know it's that sentence and not a different sentence? You look for your major supporting details. And if your major supporting details all point to that sentence, if they all make sense, like I used an example of the movie theater in the last video, that, I did, like the person that wrote the article said that he didn't want to go to the movie theaters anymore, and he gave several reasons why. Okay, so if you're looking at your major supporting details and they have reasons, that it was a pain to drive there. It was a pain to wait in line for the tickets. And then it talked about, how dirty the theater was and people were talking. So these are all things that say why you wouldn't want to go to the theater. So you know that the person doesn't want to go to the theater is the main idea of the story because it gives different reasons why. Okay, so look at your reasons, look at your major supporting details. Do they all point to that statement? Okay, so I'm going to do a Zoom meeting probably tomorrow at 2 o'clock. If any of you are interested, please shoot me an email at cchaney@woodburysch.com. The email address is all over the Canvas page. So email me and let me know if you could meet tomorrow at 2, Sunday afternoon. And if you can, then, if you have some questions, maybe you could ask me, okay? So I posted what chapters you need to go over, but I'm telling you, really focus on finding the topic, focus on finding the main idea, and focus on chapter 10 because that breaks down the different types of essays, okay? Because that's what you're going to be asked in the questions of the test, I'm sorry. So make sure you know those things. Make sure you know the different types of patterns of organization for essays. Make sure you know how to find a topic. Make sure you know how to find a main idea. All right. Also, make sure that you read the three essays over and over so that you understand them. Take notes if you have to while you're writing. See if you can do a web that with your major supporting details and see that they point to the main idea. All right, if you do all that, I think you're going to be okay. Read the questions carefully. If they ask you to number things 1, 2, and 3, then you have to number them 1, 2, and 3. Make sure your spelling is correct and your punctuation. Okay. This is an important test because this is a test. A lot of you didn't do well in the first test. So this test can bring your grade up, bring your average up. You need to, with these 3 exams that you'll have, when you average the 3 exams together, you must have a 70 or a higher to pass this class. Okay, so let me know what I can do to help you. Send me an email if you can meet tomorrow for Zoom at 2 o'clock, and I will send you a link to my Zoom room. And good luck with everything. Again, any questions you have, please email me. If you can meet tomorrow, make some time at 2 o'clock. All right. Have a good day.